My name is Liz Hurtado, and I'm with Moms Clean Air Force and its Latino engagement program, EcoMadres. I have the absolute honor to welcome a very special guest today, Dolores Huerta, president and founder of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. She is a celebrated Latina labor leader, activist, and community organizer who has worked for civil rights and social justice for over 50 years. Dolores, bienvenida a nuestra Ecocharla. Welcome to our climate chat with EcoMadres.
No, thank you very much for having me to talk about this very, very important subject that affects every single one of us.
That's exactly right. We are so thrilled to be speaking with you today. And I personally feel so privileged to be sharing this space with you and truly for our viewers to learn more about your work and the drive behind the many victories that you've had and celebrated over the years. So I would love to start by taking us a little bit back and remembering some of those earliest memories of caring for the natural world. Could you share with us some of your early connections to the environment and caring for Mother Earth?
Well, actually, I was a Girl Scout from the time I was 8 to the time I was 18 years old. And of course, being a Girl Scout, we used to go camping every summer and learn about nature, learn about the trees and how we had to protect the forest. We learned the names of all the different types of trees that there were, learning about animals also, and what our connection was with Mother Earth then. And then also, I think knowing about our indigenous roots as Latinas, and knowing that the native tribes, indigenous tribes, they always knew that you had to take care of the earth because that is where everything that feeds us, everything that is connected to us, that this is where it comes from. And we have that very strong connection with Mother Earth, and we have to very definitely know and learn how to take care of her.
That's exactly right. And I love everything you just said, really taking us back to our roots and really, empowering us to take better care of our Mother Earth. Here at EcoMadres, our mission is to empower and mobilize Latino communities to fight for clean air, equitable climate change solutions, and protections for toxic chemicals. And I know that much of your life and career has been doing just that, empowering and organizing people to take a stand and to fight for our rights. So one significant victory that you had was working to eliminate toxic pesticides that threaten the health of farm workers in the fields. Can you share with me how environmental and climate challenges informed and shaped your community organizing and the fight for environmental justice?
Well, with the United Farm Workers, so many of the farm workers were getting injured by pesticides, some of them dying, and then their children were being born with deformities. And so we had to do a big campaign to get rid of some of these very dangerous pesticides. And also with DDT, our eagles were disappearing in California because they eat the rodents that had been poisoned with DDT. And so we had to do a big campaign to eliminate probably over a dozen, we call them the dirty dozen, and a lot of our children that are born with deformities. So that was one of the biggest campaigns that we did. And then with the Dolores Huerta Foundation area where we have a chapter where the water was going to be contaminated because although they had stopped making this dangerous pesticide called Dinosev, the dirt where they had that plant, it was seeping into the water table. So we had to do a big campaign to get the EPA to come in and clean up the water table before it got into the drinking water of the people in this town called Arbor, California, near Bakersfield.
Yeah, that is incredible. And we hear about those kinds of stories still today. We know a lot of progress has been made, but a lot of those pesticides still exist. And we know we still have to keep pushing for stronger protections and those that are upheld today.
Yeah, and then we have another issue right now, and that is that we are trying to transition from fossil fuels, oil to green jobs. And right now on our community, I'm in Bakersfield, California, which produces about 60% of the oil for the state of California. And getting the oil companies to come in and cooperate to make this happen is very difficult. And in fact, what they're doing is they're doing what they call the greenwashing, and they are putting themselves in a position where they are the ones that are going to get a lot of the money that our federal government, under Joe Biden's leadership, that trying to get some of the money that's coming down for this transition from oil to green jobs, that they're the ones that are going to be able to capture most of that money.
Yeah, that is exactly right. We hear about those, inequities that many of our communities face, and we really have to pay attention to that kind of greenwashing because it happens often, and they get really sneaky about it. And so we really do have to continue to mobilize, come together, and ensure that our communities are standing up and prohibiting, dirty players coming in. I'm glad you mentioned, that the level of historic funding that is coming today for our climate, and for us as an environmental organization that advocates for cleaner air and stronger environmental protections. I would love to know from you, how can we continue to center our advocacy on the communities that are most impacted, including frontline workers, in this transition to clean energy, to a clean future?
Well, I think people have to become engaged at the grassroots level and let people know what they can do to also support this and to make sure that they are informed and that they have to know how they can participate, because a lot of people, I mean, sometimes the environmental movement and the environmental challenges that we have are so huge that people don't know how they can personally get involved. And so they sort of feel, well, there's nothing that I can do. There's other organizations like yours that are going to have to make it happen. So I think we have to reach out to them and say, no, there's something that you can do. You can make sure that we get progressive people elected that are going to be standing up for climate change and to stop the global warming, and to make sure that some of these laws that we need passed to stop the pollution in our air, we can make it happen. But that they have to take some responsibility, but also feel that they're invited to join the environmental movement.
That's exactly right. That's really wonderful advice. I love how you always talk about, the power in the people, the collective we. It's important for us as individuals to take action, but it's even greater and more powerful when we come together towards those, towards and stronger protections that we need. And clearly, you have inspired countless people to organize, and even more so with your foundation. You empower people to use their voice to create change, which is exactly what we're trying to do here within EcoMadres as well. I know that your daughters have even joined in your journey of activism. And furthermore, you coined the positive protest slogan, "Si se puede." Yes, we can. And I love that, because like me, I know many Latinas use that phrase, "Si se puede," as an affirmation, really to empower ourselves, to remind ourselves that we are capable, that we can do hard and necessary things like fighting for stronger protections. So I'd love to ask you a question, if it's okay, in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking audiences. Como activista latina, ¿qué mensaje le gustaría dar a nuestras ecomadres que luchan por un aire más limpio y la necesidad de proteger nuestra madre tierra?
Bueno, sabemos que nosotros en nuestra cultura indígena que tenemos nosotros, siempre hemos tenido la tradición que tenemos que proteger a madre tierra, ¿no? Y a veces me acuerdo que muchas veces se burlaban de muchas de nuestras madres, porque decían cuando lavaban los platos en las bandejas a veces, ¿no? Y luego agarraban esa agua y la tiraban a la yarda. Y muchas personas decían, bueno, ¿por qué hacen eso? ¿Por qué no dejan el agua que se baje por el drenaje, no? Pero estaban esas personas en nuestra tradición, usaban el agua para darle agua a todas las hierbas, a las flores que tenían ahí y los vegetales que estaban creciendo. Además de ayudar el ambiente en hacer eso, estaban conservando agua al mismo tiempo. Muchas de las costumbres que nosotros teníamos, que la otra gente no entendía, pero estábamos en nuestra cultura guardando nuestra tierra, guardando nuestra agua y siguiendo la tradición de cuidar el ambiente.
Thank you so much. I know many of us can relate to the need to conserve, from a very early age, from our mothers and our grandmothers teaching us the way to take care of our environment from these simple things that we would do throughout the day.
Y otra cosa también, another thing that people would make, they would make kind of fun of our people, would say, why do they take care of things? We have a lot of not only pollution in our air that we have, but because of our materialism that we have also, we have plastic pollution, we have clothes pollution, because we have this materialistic culture, and I'm going to call it the Western culture, is very, very materialistic. And, and actually, like Gandhi said, we have to live simply so others can simply live. And if we can stop that culture of materialism also, then this is another way that we can keep Mother Earth from being so polluted with things that we really don't need, but that people keep buying and buying and buying. And, they say that the United States of America and Japan, and I think Germany, we are responsible for 75% of the materialism and the things that we don't need in our planet. And so I think that's another thing that we can think of our cultural traditions of just get what you need and stop the excess.
That's an excellent point. And really, that's an alarming number, how so few countries and people are responsible for such great pollution, especially in plastic, which is definitely something where we need to reduce, because there really aren't great solutions to combat the plastic that's coming into our environment. So the less that we use, the less that we produce, the better. I wanted to close with this last question, because here at Moms Clean Air Force and EcoMadres, we like to say that we fight it for justice in every breath. And so we'd love to know, what does that phrase, justice in every breath, mean to you?
Well, I think it means a couple of things. Justice in every breath. We can refer to the pollution and get that we have in our air, and why it is urgent that we transition from fossil fuels to green energy, so we can stop the pollution of the fossil fuel energy in our planet. But I think it means something else. It means that we as madres, as equal madres, we have the responsibility to make sure that not only our family knows about what they have to do, and give them some of the roles that they can play, some of the practices that they can involve themselves in to stop pollution. But one other very, very important thing is that we make sure that we elect people to our local government, city council, board of supervisors or commissioners, to the state legislature, to our school boards, and to our Congress, that we stand behind all of those people out there that are going to, all of those people that are running, the candidates that are running for office, that they will support the principles and the policies and pass the laws that are going to save our planet. And that we can make sure that everybody that we know is registered to vote, and that they vote, that they inform themselves, so that we get people that are going to go out there and they're going to fight like EcoMadres are fighting to save the planet. That these politicians, Jane Fonda, who has been doing a lot of work to save the environment, she has said, she has committed, she will only give any of her dollars to those candidates that are running for office that are going to support saving our planet and saving our environment. And that's what we have to do too. Our part is we register to vote. We make sure everybody votes for those politicians that are going to stand up for our environment and for Mother Earth. Para Madre Tierra.
Así es. And I could not agree with you more. Everything that you've said, all the advice that you've given, the words of wisdom, we truly, truly appreciate it. And I hope that everyone out there watching really continues to replay this conversation so they can take down their notes. But Dolores, I really would like to thank you so much for joining me today. And truly, it has been an honor to speak with you. And I would like to conclude actually with a bit of inspiration. I know you just shared a bunch, but I would love to read your quote, because we really need to call on the next generation of activists. And you write, every moment is an organizing opportunity. Every person a potential activist. Every minute a chance to change the world. Dolores, thank you again for your time. Thank you so much for joining us at EcoMadres.
And I would like to add to that, to remind everybody out there that we have the power, and we as women have even more power. And one more thing, be sure when we talk to these political candidates about supporting the environment, that we also say to them that all of the EcoMadres, that we also want them to vote for the Equal Rights Amendment for women, to make sure that we have that in the Constitution of the United States, because the United States is only one of the few countries in the world that has not that voted on equal rights. And right now we're very, very close. It's in the Congress right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't get it with this Congress, we have to get it with the next one. So when the politicians come to you and ask you for your vote, we have to say, yes, you have to vote for a clean environment for Mother Earth. And we also want you to vote for the Equal Rights Amendment for women.
That is absolutely right. And with that, actually, that's a great segue to our next ask for everybody. Get out there and vote. Get out there, make your voice heard. And shortly on the screen, you'll see a couple of QR codes for you to take out your phone, scan them. That will link to a couple of petitions, more information on the Dolores Huerta Foundation, and ways to continue to get involved. So again, thank you all so much for joining us today. Dolores, it has been a pleasure. And I thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.